Ask you, but I know that. I'm sure you paid for the salary, description and stuff. I don't say anything. I don't say anything.
It goes over here because I'm right-handed. Or unless I do. Okay. No,
Everything's live and ready.
Yeah.
And we're running late, aren't we?
Right there.
Thanks, brother.
That's another make it trip.
Yeah, there is bottled water. I wanna go back. There's beautiful ones to take it.
Pretty area.
yeah, I put out some there, so.
But it's not close.
Know how to get water.
Part of the month, so make sure they grab it.
Okay, we should make them drink it while they're here.
Yeah.
All right, grab a seat. Brandy's gonna start yelling.
Yeah, I just do that.
I'll do the yelling, Brandy. I'll take that part. Oh, there's so oh my gosh, we got two
Oh, I
grandkids in
I
town.
could be a yeller.
That's fantastic.
Smile. Yelling at us.
Well, when I was raising my children,
That's different. That's
I had to watch out for the
A
windows.
late
when
arriving
they were
crowd
open.
today.
I know.
It's a crap ton of people here. They all got here 2 minutes ago.
Yeah, this one's open.
Hey, good morning. How's everybody doing?
Yeah.
Good.
Oh,
Let's go.
all right.
Have a seat. Brandy's ready to crush it.
Look at me crush it. Here we go. All right, guys,
Her Jack. It's cute.
let's go ahead and settle in. Back row people, front row people are ready. We're ready. Okay, but for real though. Hey, guys. We're kind of starting up here. Is that all right? Go ahead. Go ahead without us. All right,
Herding cats.
right?
Is it herding cats or what?
Yeah, I taught third grade, so I'm okay. I'm good with that. All right.
No
Well,
wonder
let's go ahead and get this meeting started. Let's start out with something good, as we always do. We can always, I'm glad we don't start off with something bad, right?
Right. Yeah, just turn the news on.
Right, there we go. There's
Yeah.
plenty of that. So let's work on finding something good, because there's always something good. Yep.
So last week I missed team meeting, but it's for a good reason. I gotta go swim with a shark. So that was cool.
Where
It's in
did you swim?
Springfield, in that aquarium there.
Okay.
So I gotta go down in a shark cage while they were feeding them their lunch. That was pretty cool. There's a huge shark about from me to you out of the cage. He's what, 14 foot?
I like the Bass Pro Aquarium, like that. Oh my gosh, how'd you get to do that?
My wife got it for me for my birthday.
Oh, that was a birthday gift. She's feeding you to the sharks. Yeah, check your life
I
insurance.
don't qualify for life insurance, so it was a gift of love.
Oh, okay.
More valuable alive.
Okay, yes. That's good. That's
Who's having a birthday today?
who's having a birthday today?
Mickey? Happy birthday,
Happy-
Mickey.
That's good. All right, what else? What else we got? Something good. What about you? Yes, tell us.
Wonderful.
9 days
Yeah.
in the Virgin Islands for your
Hence the tan. Perfect.
very good. I was living through your photos. I enjoyed that. And happy anniversary, by the way. Yeah. Heck yeah, 40 years. That's amazing. That's great. Yep, Chad.
The summer flew by. Tomorrow we go pick up my daughter that had an internship in San Diego. So it's already done. 2.5 months. Nervous, happens. Oh, we'll pick up already.
Is she going back to school in the fall?
Go back to K-State.
Okay,
Cool.
very cool. Very cool. All right, anybody else? something good. And that's it. We just got that.
I got something good.
Yeah, what you got?
You guys, we're pretty busy. It's summertime. We're closing a lot of deals. I think Caesar will tell us we closed 80 or 90 transactions, whatever it is. Lot, right? Good for everybody. You guys have no idea how hard it is to be the broker of this office, okay, or any office. So Darren Jones has the best personality. He can take your stress is here, his is here, okay? What if his was the same as yours?
He goes, oh my God, that's so bad. This is so bad. This is so bad.
Yeah, just quit real estate. This isn't for you. We'd have an office of 12 people, not 125. I can tell you that right now. So his demeanor is appreciated. There's usually 2 or 3 nice little dust ups every week, and you guys run to your leadership, which you should. And I don't think Darren gets near enough credit. So there's a fun little restaurant that just opened on 151st. It's called Conroy's. It's their new place. It's built in a church. The inside is fan. Who's been there? Have you been to the new Conroy's? It used to be Lou Allen's back in the day. It is cool as heck inside. Darren likes nice Irish beers and things like that. So give it up for our broker, a little gift certificate. Just a very small token. We appreciate it. Appreciate
So
it.
we call him our brave broker because
Yeah.
it takes a brave soul to take us on. Yep.
Last week I stood up in front of you guys and talked about taking 2 days away and got them pretty close. Both close Thursday.
All right.
Elated and happy and, love it on the realtor and loan officer, so it's a good day.
Good. I love that.
Make that 3, Todd. One you, I stole for you.
Well, nice.
Out there stealing deals, huh? All right. Well, good. I love that. Anybody else? Something good.
Away yesterday, so it's free to go home. I went to the chick's office. I'll bring it out.
A cookie.
Huge cookie.
I can't do all that, so. Then it's happening. So I'm gonna bring it out. Free to go home. Everyone.
Free to a good home.
It won't last long in this group, I can tell you that.
First come, first serve. Yeah. Cross posted, all that good stuff. Put on Facebook Marketplace.
I was just drop it off.
Oh.
Thing, and then I forgot. Put it in the- so,
Oh, she missed out.
Jakey can eat it.
All right.
Yeah,
All right. Let's go. Let's hear from our vendors. Lisa, we missed you last week, girl.
Yeah, give it up
Come
for
on,
Lisa.
Pop out land title.
Okay, just a couple things. Remember, schedule your sellers ahead of time. We've had quite a few lately that are trying to close the seller on the same day as the buyer. I know that sometimes just happens schedule wise, but what ended up happening is that on 2 of them, they ended up getting delayed. Their mover was supposed to be there in the morning. They didn't show up. Anyway, the seller didn't end up closing till the end of the day. The buyers couldn't get the funding authorization from their lender. It pushed everything off to the next day. One was on a Friday. So, try to get your sellers in ahead of time. If they can't take off work in the same week to move another day, then, or time off, it's not even a day, just some time off, we can do it the week before even. So there's a lot of flexibility with a seller. So think about that when you're scheduling, when you're talking to your sellers. Payoffs for odd little things, windows, solar panels. Those sometimes I think we think about and ask our sellers about. Do you have windows to pay off? Do you have solar panels to pay off? We had one that doesn't always come up frequently, and it was a security system. So the problem is that was not discovered until the seller was sitting in front of me on the day of closing, and we needed to get a payoff for that. So, and those aren't always easy to get. They're more challenging to get than just a normal loan payoff sometimes. So keep in mind that ask your sellers when you're talking with them in the beginning, do you have any of these things? And have them think a little bit harder about, is there these odd little things out there that we need to get payoffs in? The last thing is summer departure date is the end of August. So so we will not see her after Labor Day. Labor Day, keep in mind, is coming up the first part of September. Okay? Thank you.
Appreciate you,
Thanks,
Lisa.
Lisa.
Well, I'm gonna be,
point out that on our disclosure, it asks if there's other liens other than a mortgage, and so we need to double check with the sellers and ask them if they understand what that means. They may not think about their windows or their solar, whatever.
Yeah, excellent point, because people often will think judgment or things like that when they talk about other liens. Or they don't think about the fact that it ties to the property, like you can't take the windows with you when you leave, so therefore, yes, it is tied to the property, could be priority lien, that type of thing.
Good deal.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Lisa.
All right, we got a new roommate down the hallway over here. We got Todd Branson. Come on, Todd. Come on, Todd.
Limp on up here.
Trying to walk.
Here, oh, there we go.
All right. So who has a financial calculator? Your realtors. Old school realtors always have them, right? Anybody else have a financial calculator? Can you calculate a payment? Yeah. Google, heard Google.
$7
Okay,
per
so
thousand.
next Wednesday, that's always kind of a simple rule, right? As rates come down, when rates were really low, it was like $3.80 a thousand. All right, so next Wednesday, Jake and I are gonna teach a class on how to calculate a payment. Now, if you want to dive deep, I'll dive deep with you, okay? But keep it simple. I think there's a few things that you could ask. There's a few things you could do to just get a pretty general concept of payment. Those calculators online are horrible because they assume 20% down. They don't understand how PMI works. They don't understand any of that. And I don't expect you guys to be, have a finance degree or be 32 years in the mortgage business like me. Okay. However, I think a basic simple payment would be important to kind of know the gist. Jake said, yeah, they'll just say call Todd, right? Which I'm grateful for. But understand there is a few things we can do. This is a 32-year-old calculator, still going strong. And I use it literally every day. Lonnie and I use the same one, and you just pound the crap out of it, still going. So anyway, bring one if you have it. We're talking about maybe seeing if we can't. There's an app for your phone. Like I have this HP 12C app on my phone. So if I'm anywhere and I don't have my calculator, I can just pull the app up and it calculates the exact same thing. Now, how important would it be? And this is something that at a little bit advanced level of selling, but what if you could show your potential buyer what they'll owe in a couple years? Like, hey guys, owning the house, here's what you'll owe in 2 years, 3 years. We call it future value. What are you going to owe? And so what's going to happen to the equity? It's going up and the balance is going to go down. Those are things that are selling points that I sell to people all the time and show them that. But if you have a little bit of a knowledge on future value and things like that, it could really come in handy. But having a calculator that'll calculate future value is critical. I do it all the time when I compare 15 and 20-year mortgages and 30s. Like, what are you going to owe in 2 years? What are you going to owe in 3 years? What are you going to owe in 4 years? And that sometimes will help the customer go, man, look at all the equity we're going to gain by buying now. Make sense?
Yeah.
I'm looking for a free app. I've got a good app that'll do a basic mortgage calculation, but won't do future value.
Yeah.
For the free apps. So I'm still, if anybody has a.
Yeah,
free
and
app
if we get into
that could do that, let me know.
future value and things like that, that may cost.
Is the HP 12C app, is there a charge for that? That's what I have on my phone. I don't think
It is.
Oh, they charge for
It
it?
was like $9.99 when you first got it.
Oh,
It was $10.
Yeah, the one that I liked was like $8 a month.
And some of them monitor you too. Like if it's, if you're gonna use it as you're a finance guy and you're gonna only do that, I would say that there's monthly subscriptions for those.
and what Todd has in his hand now is $40, I think, on Amazon. He was 100 back when we bought him, right?
I think it's 100 still, but I don't know.
I saw him for 40.
$40?
Yeah.
Used or new?
I don't know.
All right.
Do you have?
I didn't go that far. I didn't go that
I'm
deep.
losing equity in my calculator.
$15 for that one.
15?
Yep, one-time purchase. Yep, with an app.
I paid 85 in 1988.
That's it.
You made more money
Oh,
on it.
sorry. I'm like going, shit, really?
What's the
Anyway.
name of the app?
It was a
Bonnie,
write-off.
what's the name of the app?
HP 12C.
Oh, do you really want people to learn how to use this calculator?
Yeah,
It's
it's better than one they're not using.
It's reverse polarized. So in other words, you're gonna do it in a different order on this than you do a normal calculator. It might be easier to do a Texas Instruments, or Casio has a one. When you go to your real estate classes, like if you do Barker's classes, don't they have like those realtor professional ones? They keep it pretty simple, right? You can buy one there. But I just recommend you guys, just a little basic knowledge, just knowing that instead of just going, I don't know, 2,000. The worst thing ever is when a buyer comes into me and they go, yeah, so-and-so just told me it was 1,400 my payment. I go, yeah, it's 2,000. They missed PMI, they missed taxes, they missed insurance, or the thing online. Oh, the Reese Nichols calculator said the payment's this. Yeah, Reese Nichols is off by $700. Okay, so understand some of those basics, and that's what we're going to dive into. If we want to do a more deeper class, we can probably do it later. I'm happy to do that. You know,
It's gonna
but
be a lot of
anyway,
fun.
yeah, it'll be fun. I know the two nerds over here are going, yeah, it's gonna be fun. Anyway, so that we got that going next Wednesday. Thank you.
Thanks, Todd.
Thank you. I see Apex in the house today, so
We will, thank you very much, everybody, can like pass our information around the internet, yeah, thank you guys so much for
awesome.
Thanks, ladies.
All right,
Appreciate
well,
it.
thank you.
Yeah,
I don't think I
short
see,
and sweet.
well, I don't think I see anybody else. Everybody else is out working and inspecting and insuring and all the things they do. Okay. Here we go. I think we got, yep, listings, buyers and open houses. Who's got some listings you want to tell us about? Lonnie.
Going live today, Lee Summit, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, newer roof, brand new HVAC, or excuse me, just the AC, and then new carpet and paint inside out, granite kitchen, 337.5. It'll go fast.
Nice.
So got something in the low 3s, mid 3s, Lee Summit. There's one.
Great. Yep, Rustlin.
Going live Friday, Oak Grove, 785. It is a huge house, 2-car garage. It has, it's 1.5 story with a walkout basement, has a mother-in-law's quarters, 4 bedrooms, 2 non-conforming. It has above ground pool, 30 by 40 outbuilding. They're currently running a small business out of there for a monument. But, yeah, that is the best.
Any acreage on that one or?
Yeah, 3 acres.
Okay.
Solomon, then tested all of it.
Okay. Oak Grove.
Yeah, Oak Grove, Gray Valley School District.
Gotcha. All right. Yes.
So my Harrisonville house has fallen out of contract like 4 times now. So, and none of it has been because of the house. So it's just kind of like, well, the last one was, it wouldn't fit enough horses midway through the contract. So 383, it's on 3.5 acres, that one with the big wraparound porch, 1,400 square foot, 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Then everything on it's brand new.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Shoot.
great if we have a deal that sticks. Inspections are done. Like, right on.
So how many horses will it hold?
3.5. 6. It was like 2 or something, 2 or 3.
You wanna buy hay?
Yeah.
All right. Yes, Glenda, what you got?
I've got the, 3-bed, 1-bath in Belvedere in Greenview, which I went live, we finally got showings started. Totally remodeled, just almost rebuilt.
Top-notch remodel.
It is gorgeous, and it is best in class for Belvedere. 214.9. I would encourage you to go see it. The pictures just don't do it justice, and all the upgrades.
Like it's a new house, rebuilt
It's
on,
rebuilt.
yeah.
What's the address? 15215 White Avenue. It's just down from the elementary school. But I would love feedback if anybody has time to go.
And it is vacant, so if you would love to have some agents, if you're in the neighborhood, can swing by and give her some feedback, that'd be great.
Yeah, it is, I mean, it's a little on the high side for Belvedere, but it's, once you see it, it clearly looks done.
It should set the record for the highest price for its size and it features. There's no doubt. The question is, have we went above that? That's only time will tell. It's a cute house. I looked at the pictures. Yeah,
It is a nice house.
a good job.
Okay, yes.
I still have in the Harrisonville, 1,400 mechanic, 4 bedrooms, 1.5 bath, 59. The only bad thing that I really heard about it is that mechanic is the street.
Busy street.
And it's been repainted.
All right. Darren, what you got?
Got a daycare in Adrian. So it's in the commercial listings. You might not have seen it. Need more water. 220 includes the building. It's about 2,700 square feet. It's got 3 half baths. You get the business and the building for that price.
So it's open, it's running.
It's open, it's running.
Hmm.
It's got, I don't know how many kids per day in there.
Okay. Business opportunity in Adrian. Anybody else? Listing you want to tell us about? Rusty?
Well, the listing house, the 20 acre lane out in Lone Jack, got to do a $20,000 price improvement, get that thing moved. Beautiful property, the feedback's been great, just either you love the land or you love the house, or vice versa, you guys know how that is. So look for that, but it's right in the plan and open house Saturday, 1 to 3. Now, this person would love to have open house every weekend. So if anybody's looking to potentially have some buyers, we did have people from last week, so not people aren't coming, but if you guys are interested in an open house for us, please let us know.
Okay. All right. Yes.
So I have a coming soon, next Friday the 15th in Norman Hills, 1.5-story, great house in the full unfinished basement, great shape. 3 bedrooms, 3 baths, needs, I would say, cosmetic updates inside. And a great house, super close to the school.
Avila or
Barstow.
Barstow?
Hmm.
Yeah.
School looks like walk. We're 75. It's about 2,600 above. Lots of space on the main, so it's got a large great room, eating kitchen, it's all kind of open with vaulted ceilings up to the 2nd story. Fireplace, has dining room, master bedroom, master bath, and laundry office. And then 2 bedrooms and Jack and Jill.
Nice. All right.
My other 2, 1 contingent, and so if you have anyone that wants to live in Woodbridge, we've been extending our contingency, but it's supposed to expire this Friday, so we may go back on market. That's a really great house. And, yes, and it's 410, 6 bedrooms, 3.5 baths, all of the, I don't know, square footage upgrade, but it's huge upgrade. And then full unfinished basement, and then my walk home, and so.
Okay. Very good. Anybody else with the listing you want to tell us about? Hey.
My own impact. So, I met with a handful of agents with the same, we're all in the same subdivision. And saying one of them turned on, and they have to even have any showings, and they're all, it's a weird market.
Mm-hmm.
But there's really nothing anybody can do. The prices are, comparable and.
A lot of new builds in that neighborhood,
Yeah, there's new builds that are cheaper, but they're much smaller. So it's just strange that they either sell the first week or they're sitting 30, 60 days. So it's kind of, I don't know. But the one I have is a great house. 5 bedrooms, 6 full bath, across the street from all the amenities, front yard, fenced in, owner's a landscaper. There's just a lot of things, but.
Okay.
Weird, everything on there is just sort of stagnant right now, I think.
All right. Thanks for sharing. Any buyer needs? Yep.
We have who's in the Wealth Building Club in here? We're getting ready to get an email, by the way. The duplex we listed in Grandview still doesn't have a contract, even though I have a couple offers. We got it at 186. It rents for 845 a side. Kind of do the numbers on that. She would look at an offer on it, so probably can be bought a little under that, maybe even the 175 to 180 range. That's impossible to find. Turnkey duplexes, maintenance-free siding, all one level. That's important too, because you can rent these to people that are not super mobile. But anyway, if somebody needs a starter investment property, I'm shocked it's not sold. So think about that. And even if you don't have a client, put it out there in your social media. You have my permission. Put it out there in social media that, hey, investor special, who wants to get started in their investment journey, that kind of stuff, guys. That's when people will start looking at you as a resource for that. Joe, did you have something, buddy? They both go through March of next year. I have no idea. High Grove. Something High Grove. It's 186. Yep.
You're the listing agent?
I am. Yeah. But usually duplexes like that are pretty predictable. Grandview's got a bunch of sales from 195 to 210 for a little bit nicer versions, but same size, and honestly about the same rents. I kind of thought this under 200 would bounce, I mean, just go like
Mhm.
that.
That's it too.
I'm kind of surprised by that, but again, the market is where we're at today. In today's market is something that just would have evaporated and went multiple offers. It's just not playing out that way now. So we just kind of have to get used to it. I know it'll sell, and my seller does too. By the way, there's a seller who's not complaining. She's getting her rent from the people. She's in no hurry. Life is good, right?
Yeah.
So those are great listings to have when the market starts to normalize a little bit. But I'd like to see it go to somebody here in the office, if at all possible, because I think it's a great starter.
How long, what's the lease in place now?
Both are through March of next year.
All right. We'll move on. If you do come up with something or remember something later, put it in the Facebook group. Nanette with our Miss Care Committee. Come on up, Nanette.
Yay, Nanette.
Her hand.
Oh, she's got to have an odd look on her face. It's just how I look.
That's just me. Why am I odd? Hi, I'm Nanette Middleton, and I'm the co-chair of Care Committee here. And our responsibility is to love on you guys and celebrate you if you're having a baby or you're getting married, or if life happens and you just need to have us meet your needs in any way that we can. But we don't know what we don't know. So if you don't tell us, we don't know. So if anybody knows of anyone that's going through a storm in their life, or if we need to celebrate them with marriage or babies, just let us know, reach out to us. And then at the end of the month, Wednesday, August 27th, we like to get to know you on a personal level. That's what the Care Committee is all about, is meeting you on a personal level. And Lunch Bunch is Wednesday, August 27th, and that's where we meet here in the office at noon. You bring your own lunch, and we just get to know each other. So Carrie, I don't know if you know, but you are the host. So we do have a subject that the person that's hosting comes up with, and we all share that experience with each other. We don't really talk about real estate. It's more about what's going on in our lives, or you find out all kinds of things during our session there. So please join us. We would love to have you and get to know you better.
Thanks, Nanette. Good job. So it is
good.
possible to have a meal and not talk about real estate?
No.
I think.
Or,
no,
I
she
don't
said-
know that I pulled that off, but it's a great idea.
Yeah.
Stretching
I can tell you.
We're a work in progress. Okay. Here is our calendar. If you don't have one, I'll show you where to get one, or we have it on Facebook. All right, the agent bingo. I introduced this in July, the beginning of July. Remember the bingo cards? And I've got one filled out here. Anybody else need to turn one in? Because this will be pretty easy otherwise. This is Laura Crotties. I was looking for a bingo. Notice it's a blackout. So she took it on, and I watched her work her butt off because you made it public there in the beginning, going, I'm going for a blackout. She made it public, and then I watched her work really hard to get all that done. And so I'll have something for you. Yeah, right at the last minute. So good job, Laura.
Good job.
So what was your client event?
It was ice cream party for a lot of people I know, at Julie, at
The Chill Spot in Harrisonville?
Invited Scout, kids and families, and in fact, right there, I have a buyer, actually two buyers, one for land and one for a house.
Good job.
Yeah. So how much did that cost you to do something like that? That you paid for? You partnered with vendors. So guys, don't overthink it. Don't make it too hard. And she partnered with Julie Phillips, who has the Chill Spot. So I bet. And that's amazing ice cream. If y'all haven't been out there, you got to go check it out. Yeah, it's great ice cream. All
Well,
right.
This time of year, just to add to that, for, if you're like, hey, I know I need to do a client event and I just
Yeah.
don't know where to start. One of the easiest things you can do is get a great photographer like Julie's daughter and get something set up at one of the pumpkin places for pictures and have your people just show up and get family pictures, whatever pictures they want. Because people love that kind of stuff and you'll get a great turnout, especially with people
Yeah.
with kids.
Yeah.
And again, the value is in the invite. So if 50% of the people can't come, they're still going to appreciate the invite. But that's a low cost thing to do depending on what the photographer is going to charge and all that. So keep those kind of things in mind. It doesn't have to be something big and epic. It can be small and personal and be very, very effective.
Yeah.
There you go.
Very good. Very good. Good job, Laura.
Good
Would
job.
you have planned that client event if it wasn't for this? Oh, heck no. But you did it. So,
Prod her along.
uh-huh. Yeah, she's picked up two, a buyer and a seller, right?
$400.
Yep. Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I did draw. And I have my granddaughter. And I got the cutest picture because I gave my granddaughter my card. Watch out, 14 years, because she's.
Oh, very good. Love it.
I saw her. What do I have?
Well, very good. Well, it looks like I owe you $100 gift card, so be thinking where you want that to. So be thinking about that. So
Good
congrats,
job.
Laura.
Good job, Laura.
All right. Tomorrow, Caesar's teaching a class. Bring your laptop on organizing your business using your website, your Keller Williams website that's already been provided to you, that you already have access to. He's got some, I was going to say weirdo way, but to him, it's not weirdo. It's weirdo to me because I don't understand it. But if you want to understand it, be here and he will show you how you can use your website to organize. Anybody could use a little more organization in your world. Yes. So what if you could use a tool that Keller Williams already provides you with a resource who I was gonna say lives in that office over there. He doesn't always live here. And why not figure this out? Just spend an hour with us tomorrow and probably an hour and a half. So bring your laptop. That'll be a great class. Realtor Day at the K. This is the KCRER event. If you might have seen an email or something on the MLS about this. But Realtor Day at the K is coming up in 1 month. I don't know. Like when I saw September 5th, I'm like, oh, and I'm like, oh shoot, that's like 1 month. So if you want to be a part of that, Lacey is collecting the money. She'll handle it for our office, $33 per person. The tailgate's provided, and then you get to network with a bunch of other realtors in the area. So check that out. See Lacey for more information. Mastermind, Sold Mastermind. If you've not been on the Mastermind or haven't been on lately, you're missing out. Been really great conversation, great topics, great content. So Tim Crable's leading this Thursday. So join us at 10 a.m. There's the finance class with Todd and Jake. That's coming up next Wednesday of next week, 10 a.m. Mastering Real Estate Calculations. All right, I've got a few things because I've already heard some of what we've been talking about the last few weeks. Has anybody noticed our listings are sitting a little longer? We're having to bring them up in the meeting a little bit more. And I'm hearing a lot of frustration in our agents' voices. And it got me to thinking, is there anything we can do about that? And so I have some ideas for us. My first question would be, how do we pre-market our listings before we submit them to the MLS? But
Even before that.
Before that. Let's say somebody's not quite ready. They're ready in 2 months or 3 months, and they're not ready to sign paperwork with you yet. They're still working on stuff. Correct. You don't have a listing yet, but is there anything you could do to, I'm thinking, let's not wait till it hits the market, till it's on the active market before we start advertising. Lonnie's always talking about why would you not use that coming soon? But is there anything we can do before we even get the listing?
I tried this and give me feedback on this. So I'm helping a couple get their home ready to list with me. And we're still, 2 to 2 months out. 2 weeks to 2 months out, depending on how quickly they can get stuff done. So I'm just helping them find people to help them get their place ready. And I did a Facebook picture of me in front of their dumpster after helping them haul a bunch of stuff. And I didn't put an address on it or anything, but I just, I don't know if because she didn't want to feel the stress of having her home. Oh my gosh, I only have so much time if you're already marketing it. So I just put it out there. I mean, I felt like it was better than nothing, at least to show that I'm doing something.
That's kind of what I'm after. I know the answer, everybody, because this was my answer. Well, you can't market it until it's in the MLS. We're not rule breakers. Everybody knows what the MLS rule is, right? That you have to get that listing into the MLS within what? How many? 24 hours. You got to get, so when you take a listing, you got to get it in the MLS within 24 hours. Then you can advertise it as coming soon, right? Everybody understand? Everybody, we're clear on that. And so if you take a listing, and by the way, I hear this question all the time too. Well, how do I know when my listing date is? Well, the listing date is the date you sign the contract, the date everybody signs. That's your listing date. Now, it may not go live for a month. That's your go live date or whatever you call it, active date. But you have to, so it's not 24 hours within going live. It's 24 hours from getting it signed. Okay. So I wanted to start thinking about, well, what can we do even before they're ready to sign? They don't want that pressure. Of course, we'd love to go ahead and get that listing, push out the date, advertise this coming soon, but sometimes you might have a seller that's just too much. And so along those lines, David, and I think I like your idea. He took a picture in front of the dumpster, now didn't show the address, didn't show the front of the house, didn't give any specific details about the property. Can we do that? Yes, we can. We can. There's some things that we can do to pre-market your listings and maximize the exposure. Now I'm talking before it's in the MLS. Now, of course, if you can get that listing signed, put it in coming soon status, that's your cleanest way. Then you can advertise as long as it says coming soon. Now, can we show it if it's in coming soon status?
No.
Nope, can't show it. But you can advertise it publicly. Number 2 would be that you could market to your internal network without publicly advertising. So what does that mean? We can talk about it right here in our private office meeting. You can network with other agents. But you can also have, now this is something kind of cool. You can have a private client list that you can send out emails, texts, and phone calls. But here's the thing. You can't tell them the address. You can't tell them the price. You can't tell them, you can just keep it pretty vague. Like I have a listing coming soon in Stonegate. It's not in the MLS yet, but reach out to me if you have a buyer. Is that against the rules? I didn't tell you which house in Stonegate. I didn't tell you the address. I didn't tell you the price. I didn't tell you anything. So it kind of creates a little bit of buzz there. Number 3, you can do some reverse prospecting and buyer matching. This is where you think about the buyers that you're looking for. Like you could say, I'm working with a seller who's prepping a home in Raymore. If you know of anyone looking for a 4-bedroom house under 450 with a pool, shoot me a DM, let me know. I kept it vague. I didn't give away, I didn't tell you which house. So Darren, feel free to jump in and correct me if I'm wrong, but yes.
I put that on Facebook.
I'm working with a seller prepping a home in wherever. If you know anybody looking for a 4-bedroom house under 400,000, let me know. Yeah.
If they ask for the address, can you then say if that person's, like they call you, not publicly?
I would say no. What do you think?
Probably no. I mean, MREC says you can't advertise a property without a listing agreement in effect.
Right. Now, of course, we want that listing agreement, and then you're free to go. But if you can't get it yet, you can start to create this buzz. But yeah, be very careful. And I'm going to tell you some things to avoid. You can also tease the process, but not the property, like the dumpster, getting it cleaned out. You could, if you're staging it, or hey, staging day, have something exciting come in Stonegate. Let me know if keep your eyes open. No pricing, no address. Again, also you could promote, this is something, guys, I never really thought of. promote a free email and text list for people who want early access to listings before they hit the market. Now, again, you're not going to tell them the address. You're not going to tell them the price. You can't give specifics. You cannot publicly advertise in any way, but you could give these vague. And then, so some people might sign up to, if you become that resource, like, hey, I've got access to things that haven't even hit the market yet. And then when you can share, you reach out. So here's some things to avoid though. Don't post photos of the house, no pricing, no property specific info before it hits the MLS. Can't do that. And I'm going to save this. So if you get in trouble and you say, well, Brandy said, I'm going to say, no, I didn't. You can't put a sign in the yard without the coming soon rider or prior to MLS submission. So if you don't have a listing, if you don't have that paperwork, you truly don't have a listing. So don't put your sign in the yard. And you cannot share your listing on Facebook, even if Facebook, like a private group, even the private ones, before it's in the MLS. This is considered public marketing. Think about this, guys. You can, anything you write, anything you send out, anything you text, it can be screenshotted and shared forever. So don't think, well, this is just private between me and my friend or me and so-and-so. It could be screenshotted and shared. And then, you know, so that's before. Now, hopefully we get the listing ahead of time, get it in the pre-MLS, but then let's say you've got the listing, you're on the market, you're active, and you're not getting the showings that you want. Now what? This is where I'm meeting with several of you. We're trying to brainstorm. What else can I do? What else can I do? I hear we do it here. What else can I do? Well, I came up with some ideas. And I don't know, it may, obviously these will be house specific or situation specific. You may not want to do some of these in just any neighborhood, but you could host a themed open house. So if you've got a nice house in a nice neighborhood that you really want to promote, maybe you bring in a food truck. Maybe you fire up the grill in the front yard and you offer to, you know, grill some burgers or hot dogs and invite the neighbors. Make it a little bit of a block party. You could offer sips and sweets. You know, there's people that offer, you know, wine and cheese or whatever you might offer. And then you can advertise it as an event, not just an open house. And I would absolutely go out and invite the neighbors, because even though they pass and drive by the sign, you'd never guess how many people are just in their own little lane and they don't even see, or they don't even pay attention because it's not on their radar. You could also make some videos. You know, we're not seeing as many videos anymore. I don't know why people have kind of pulled back from that, but go do a live video, or maybe show some cool features about the house that you may not normally show about the house. Anything that's kind of cool. You know, maybe it's got cool views. You know, go at night and sunset. Maybe it's got cool sunset views. Go show that. It's got a custom pantry. Show that. And then, like I said, yeah, do a live walkthrough. Here's another one. Maybe you can create some FOMO. Does everybody know what FOMO is? What's FOMO? Fear of missing out. So maybe the seller can offer a rate buy down for the buyer if it's under contract by a certain date. We kind of haven't seen that lately. I used to, you know, several years ago, they were incentivizing buyer agents, you know, buyer agent bonus if we can get this thing under contract. Well, the clients don't care about that. I know the agents do. But what if you offered a rate buy down if we got that thing under contract by a certain date? Maybe they offer a warranty. Let's tack on a warranty, $600, and you can advertise a free warranty. Things like that. Let's see. And then maybe you can say, why hasn't this sold? Maybe you do a post like when you start realizing something's been on the market for 90 days, let's just say it, you know, 100 days, 160 days, whatever it is. Why hasn't this sold yet? And you're probably wondering why this beautiful home is still here. Let's talk about it. You know, and maybe, you know, again, house specific. It depends if it's the right thing. Let's talk about it. You know, got great feedback. We've got great, you know, this, that, the other. We just haven't found the right buyer yet. And then target, ask yourself, who is this house for? If it's a house in Belvedere, who's probably going to buy that house? What do we think, guys? It's a 3-1.
First-time home buyer.
First-time home buyer. Maybe a single mom with kids. I mean, I know we can't be specific. I know we can't target. But it could be a first-time home buyer. It could be an investor. It could be I don't know, somebody like that. Okay, well, let's think, how can we tailor our marketing to that niche? And are we targeting them? So you can think of yes. Yep. It's a great idea. It's a great idea. I love that. Good job. It's kind of, think of your listing like a great book. It's a great listing, but it's on a crowded shelf. And so it's got a strong story. It's got an eye-catching cover, but if no one's picking it up, then maybe it needs a new shelf. And then in a book club recommendation or a teaser that makes people need to know how this story ends. And so it's all about is there something we can do a little bit different to bring some more eyes to our property? Any questions or thoughts about listings and how to get more exposure, how to get them moving? Does this help at all? Yeah.
I'll add a couple things if I could.
Please.
First of all, bigger picture wise, we've got to be okay with these houses sitting on the market longer and quit freaking out when you've been on the market for 21 days and you've had 6 showings. This is a normal market now. It's much more balanced. This is the new norm. You might have a house that you're doing everything right. It's priced in the right category and it will take a while to sell. Some houses take 60, 90, 120. Some acreages will take 3 months, 4 months, 6 months to sell. And that's okay. We've got to be okay with that going forward, because otherwise what's going to happen is you're going to go through this death march with your seller where their expectations are speed, speed, speed. And we're in a market that isn't delivering that on a regular basis. Okay. So you're going to have a very painful journey the whole way, or you're going to get fired is what's going to happen, guys. And it will happen. They'll blame it on you for what shouldn't be your problem. Never apologize for the market. But if you're not sharing market data, if you're not giving them a weekly snapshot, things like that, you may deserve to get fired. Okay?
Yeah.
And it will happen.
So if you have a seller who, because I've also heard this, hey, we went on the market midweek last week, I haven't had any showings. Okay. And instead of you freaking out with them, going, oh my gosh, this is bad. You've got to be the calm in the storm and say, maybe you do a little research and say, well, in our neighborhood, how many other houses got showings? Did you know you can find that out? You say, well, hey, I know that's a bummer, but guess what? All these other houses in our neighborhood, there was only 2 showings all last week. And then that makes them feel a little better, because if you don't help them understand the bigger picture, they think they're the only ones. They think their house is the only one sitting.
Now, how do you find out how many showings other houses have?
It's on Broker Bay.
Is that on-
Broker Bay. Yep, on Broker Bay. So that is another website, but they're the ones that track those showings.
So you can put an address in Broker Bay and figure that out? Okay, Jacob, all right, I'll look into.
So that's the kind of data we need to be providing our sellers. You can do, yep.
And none of that mattered for the longest time. And it matters now.
It matters
If you're going to go take $300,000, $400,000, $600,000 listings, you want to get paid on these things. So we better figure out how to use these tools. And I say me too. When you just mentioned the Broker Bay and the number, we did that years ago, but I don't even know where to find that right now. But I'll figure it out. Joanna and I will figure it out, won't we? We're going to need that information to be able to share with our people. Another great script is you've heard me say it before, but when you're taking a listing that you sort of expect it'll get 1 or 2 showings a week, is guys, we're going to have weeks where we have none. And we're going to have weeks where we might have 3 or 4. It is completely random, and we've got to be okay with that. That is one that I've said pretty much my whole career. And by the way, if I think it's going to get 3 or 4 showings a week, I'm going to use 1 or 2. Okay. Again, I want to under promise and hopefully over deliver. Then they're not freaking out if they've had 1 or 2 showings in the first 7 or 10 days. That's kind of what you set them up for. And don't hesitate to also say, guys, would you feel any better if we had 3 or 4 more families that looked at it, none of which were buyers, just tire kickers and lookers that ran you out of your house for an hour? The answer is, for most people, would be no, that wouldn't help us at all. I feel the same way. So we want fewer showings, higher quality is actually a good thing for you.
There you go. And here's the thing, if we aren't setting the expectation and painting the picture of what we think this is going to look like for them, if we don't do that, if we don't set the expectations, guess who is? They are. Do they know anything about this? They don't.
Their coworkers, their relatives that sold their house in one day. Yeah.
Last year's market, the neighbor up the street, that one sold, my house is way better than that one and it sold fast. So what's wrong with you with not getting my house sold? you know, if we don't take the time to set that expectation, paint the picture of the current market, then they're going to use those other resources. And it's just gonna naturally happen. Yep.
Had a house. And somebody did schedule a showing, I reached out to that agent immediately with the why I think it's been on the market. So that I eliminated their questioning as well, because then they can go in really informed with their clients. I was able to say, hey, I'm gonna be honest, my clients started out overpriced. We now are in the right market. So it erases that concept of why has this been here for the agent to even plant the seed that we're in the right price point now. So just know that we know that. Don't think you're gonna come in with a low ball because it's been here. Like, we made the adjustments to fit. And I found that I did that with finding a great communication from that happened and really helped me get it sold.
Yeah, it's good. That is great.
Another pro tip along those lines, and you probably already do this. Let's say you have a listing that doesn't get frequent showings and boom, you see a request for Thursday of this week. Now your seller approved that showing and it pops up in your email and that's great. How about calling that agent and saying, hey, I know you're showing my house. If you have any questions, let me know. It's a great house. We've had a couple near misses, but just not quite the right family, things like that. But then convey to your seller that you did that before their showing even occurs. Then they're not, because in a way they wonder if you even know about the showing. Okay, they approved it for Thursday, but does David even know about it? You're actually reaching out to him going, hey, good luck on your showing Thursday. By the way, I reached out to Jenny, let her know what a great house it is and everything. Sounds like she's got people in from out of state. They're going to be looking over the next week. Don't have a house to sell, but are well qualified to buy a house. Good luck to our team. You know, that kind of stuff. That's a pro move. That shows them whether Jenny, even if Jenny cancels the showing, which that's the worst, right? You're not getting a lot of showings. Here comes one and then it cancels. You've done the legwork. They show you're out there working on their behalf. That takes about 2 or 3 minutes to make that quick call or quick text, communicate a little bit, boom, move on. People do that to us really frequently when we're showing houses. They know we usually work with a good number of buyers. They're communicating ahead of time before we even walk in the door. Those are pro moves, guys. Those are pro moves.
Excellent. Yes, Laura? What if you do get yes, no? What can you do? You call them. Tell me more. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, why didn't they pick it? Were they seriously even in buyer mode yet? Maybe they were just at the early stages. The agents are lazy and they're not giving you a lot of information. It's your job then to go in and extract more information. Okay, so go do those things. Then when you reach out to your seller, hey, it looks like we weren't a right fit for those people. After talking to the agent that showed it, she thought it was a great house, but really it might be on the outskirts of Kansas City, maybe a little too far commute is what it really comes down to. Okay, good to know. None of that was in the feedback, right? Or it turns out they're in a lease for 90 more days. They're just trying to explore what the market has to offer now. They're probably not serious buyers for a couple more months. That kind of thing, again, not in the feedback, but you did the legwork, then you shared that back with your seller. So you get to choose how you operate with these listings. If we want to stay engaged and stay hired, we have to do these things. And there's a pretty low cancel rate in the MLS for listings as far as firing agents. I expect that will continue to grow because people will blame it on their agent. And most of the time, agents doing nothing wrong. They simply aren't communicating at a high enough level to stay hired.
I like to always go in as approach to say, hey, we're a team in this. Not all houses are created equal. We all know that. There's some that are just harder to sell than others. And so we cannot, but the sellers don't know that. They think my house is as great as the one down there that's, not realizing my house sits on mechanic. It's got, it's got all these quirky different things, not good, not bad, just quirky different things that you can't compare that house to the house over there around the corner, that kind of thing. And so all of this is education, educating your sellers, keeping them informed, let them know why your house, if you can find out why they chose the other house and not your house. Maybe they say, yeah, it's just on a busy road. Well, there's nothing we can do about that. We can't pick up the house and go move it, right? So all we can do is educate and say, this is one of our hurdles we have to be prepared for. That's not your fault. It's on mechanic. It's not their fault, but they chose it in the beginning. So it's kind of their fault.
You sold it to them.
Yeah. Right. It's not your fault, but it is what it is. And, so yeah, just, all right. So,
And some of the things you spoke about, like, I don't know what, Mechanic Street, I guess, that we were talking about.
Yeah.
So a busy street, noisy area, any of those things. A 3-bedroom, 2-story is kind of an odd deal because 2 stories usually a growing family floor plan and you have a 3-bedroom version. If you're in a subdivision with everything's got a 3-car garage and you got the one house that has a 2, okay, then you're taking the pool of buyers and you're simply saying 80% of those people or whatever the magic are simply not buying this house. So that almost tells you it's going to take longer. When a listing comes, Tony brings a nice listing on the market and say it's got some unique features. There's the buyers that are sitting there waiting, watching, right? They're going to immediately look online and see if they want to go see it. All right. That's what happens when a listing goes live. You'll get some showings and all that. Then we're waiting usually for that next round of eyeballs to come through, people that are now entering the market to consider buying. And we've got to continually channel through those prospects to get the occasional showing for those houses that have limiting features. Does that make sense? So what that tells me is it's going to take a heck of a lot longer more often than not.
yep.
Just we got to think.
We got to be
differently,
okay
guys.
with that. And we got to help our
Okay.
sellers be okay with that.
If you really understood listings in a market that normalizes, being a listing agent is a little more work. It is actually way more profitable if you do the activities, because now Jake has a listing that's going to take 120 to 150 days to sell. It's 450,000. That's all good because he's communicating with the seller, but he has the ability to prospect and get buyers off of that listing versus if it was selling in 4 or 5 days in 2020, 2021.
Absolutely.
So look at it. You can look at it one way or the other. This is the way that has the potential to be more profitable, slower, but more profitable.
Absolutely. All right. Any thoughts or questions about listings? Challenges with listings? Yep.
I know a lot of feedback I get from people that didn't use me is, oh, my realtor was terrible. They never spoke to me. I had no idea what was going on. That's almost every time I hear somebody say that they had a bad experience with realtors because they didn't communicate. Been listed for 90 days. I haven't heard from them in 60. I don't know what's going on with it. I mean, heck, just a phone call
Yeah.
saying, hey, I had nothing else to sell on.
And don't text them and email. I mean, text is a supplemental way to communicate. At the end of the day, get on the phone. None of us have too many listings not to be able to speak to our sellers. Get them on the darn phone. Now, there's occasional seller that wants to communicate only via text or email, but it's amazing what a phone call will do. And by the way, when you hang up the phone at the end of that, you always feel great. Like, man, I'm really glad I went ahead and called the Johnsons. It's absolutely what we have to do going forward. I just don't want to see our people getting fired on a regular basis.
Right.
We're going to see enough of that anyway. It's just the nature of a normalizing market. By the way, when those agents are getting fired, guess who's going to be picking up those listings? The rest of us. So we need to put ourselves in position to be the second person on a deal. I didn't get a listing up north. I didn't get a chance to go to it. They actually canceled the appointment, said she's just going to list with a friend. Didn't even think anything about it. This morning, my financial advisor sends me a thing. He goes, hey, I guess you were going to potentially get this listing, and they ended up hiring a friend. 30 days in, bedrooms, bathroom, acreage, all wrong on the MLS. Agent doesn't know what they're doing. They want to fire the agent. What do we do? And I said, I can't tell you what to do, but first of all, give the agent the right to course correct and stay in business with them. You hired them for a reason. Secondly, if they can't then make it work, then I think it's time to have a heart-to-heart conversation with the agent and or broker. That's what I would advise. I didn't say fire them and hire me. I just simply
Right.
kind of push back. I'm a big believer, by the way, that if you made the decision to hire the agent and they make a misstep, and we all do it, right? They deserve the right to course correct and get things back on track. I firmly believe that.
I had an hour and 15-minute conversation with a seller yesterday morning over this exact same thing. We're 64 days on the market, and the conversation started out with, how long am I under contract with you?
Yep.
So, okay, so then we kind of went into it, and obviously, I had given it a lot of thought over the weekend because it was scheduled over the weekend, so I kind of methodically went through everything. And you know what? I took the opportunity, like, okay, I might get fired today, but let's just be honest about what's going on here. And so then I reminded them, remember when I came out and said you had a 450 house, that all the data shows your house is 450, but your house was so nice that I thought we could push 500, and you decided to push 550. Okay, she was disappointed that I did an open house and only one person showed up. I said, do you remember when you were doing your sale and I offered to come out and cook burgers and do a thing and do all of that? Remember when you turned that down? I mean, I just went through the thing and said, oh, and by the way, here's some data on properties that have sold in Belton that are between 2 and 5 acres. Since we've been on the market, one property is sold in Belton, and that was your neighbor for $100,000 less than your home. And by the time I was done, she was crying and saying she was sorry. So.
But did you get a price reduction to
And I got a price
$4.99?
reduction.
Okay.
Yeah.
There we go. Good job.
I just methodically went through everything with her, because what did I have to lose?
Right,
Right?
yeah.
So,
And he was exhausted for the rest of the day.
I was tired. Hour and 15 minutes.
I can see Tom getting charged
Yeah.
up for that call.
Yeah, I did. Yep.
Yeah, very good. Well, thank you for sharing that. That's great. Again, I think it's a team effort. It doesn't rest solely on your shoulders. If that seller doesn't let you do open houses or let you, do certain things that you want to do, need to do, like, hey, this is a team effort here. If they don't clean up the house, if they don't make it accessible, if they don't, it's a team effort. And if you phrase it that way, then it doesn't put all of the weight on your shoulders to make sure that it gets it done. And if it doesn't sell, it's all your fault. No. Yes.
I think it's a real skill to be able to give your clients what seems negative as a positive, maybe. So if I see that we've had no showings, I often will call an agent nearby and they're like, yeah, nobody showed up. It's easier to tell my client, hey, spoke with some other agents, just wasn't a busy week in real estate this week. So it may sound like it's not them personally, or kind of construe some of the feedback if the house wasn't clean, to be able to say, hey, this might have been a bit of a negative, but not a big deal. That's something we can take care of. Like, let's go in and let's get it handled. So that, I don't know, just being able to help them see some positives with what might look like a negative.
Yeah.
Kind of can encourage them that, hey, we're not so bad.
Yeah.
We're gonna make it.
Yeah, it's just like how you word things, like Lonnie's saying, if you've got like a more unique property, the showings are gonna be slower, so instead of wording that as a negative, you're saying, hey, we almost want this, we don't want these tire kickers, you want people that are motivated for what your property is.
Yep.
So that way, people are not gonna be wasting time, they're looking for your specific property, if it's, new construction or a log home or anything, like, it's all about how you word it, so that way, the expectation from the beginning is, I know things are gonna be slower, and then if they are faster, then great, you're over delivering, so.
Absolutely. Absolutely. This is great.
And the other part of the story, just real quick to end that, is what I ended up finding out, it wasn't necessarily all about what I was doing, it was the pressure that she was feeling from making 2 house payments. That was really the underlying thing about all this, right?
Sure.
So it wasn't that Tom was doing a bad job, it's just that I thought I was gonna sell this and pay off this, and I wouldn't have the house payment.
Yep.
So, yeah, so sometimes we all gotta understand that the seller's got other things going on
Sure.
than just us.
Which would make you think they would be more aggressive on pricing. The last thing somebody with 2 payments, unless they have, good resources,
Yeah.
they're going to want to put it 5, 10, 15% above what we think the market is. And if they do that, great, but let's do it for a short period of time. Let's get in the kill zone very, very quickly. But each one of these situations is so different, guys. We just got to be okay with that. But what Brandy's talking about here in this last 20, 30 minutes or so, this is what distinguishes the top brokerages and the top agents versus everybody else. The pro moves, the best practices, the things we're talking about here. Guys, your competition, most of them aren't having these meetings. They're not having these conversations, and they're not having the success we're having, okay? So keep doing this. Keep growing your mindset. Brandy always brings a lot of value, but think about, okay, even if I don't have a listing, like what would I do if I were in this situation that Tom's in, right? Not to throw you under the bus.
Yeah.
We're there on a couple of them too. So, but it's just it's the market of the moment. It's what we're dealing with. And by the way, this is a balanced market. This isn't the market that's flipped all the way to a buyer's market. Not many of you guys were in a buyer's market where it was, who was in the buyer's market of 2008, 9, 10, 11? Okay, that's a true buyer's market, right? Crap ton of houses for sale, lots of distress. Buyers just could pick and choose. We haven't seen that in a long time. We're not there. Can you imagine what it's like to work with a seller in that market? It is work, okay? It is a job every time you get hired. And 3 months, 4 months, 6 months is the expectation in those markets, okay? So we're nowhere near that. So feel like this is very balanced. Have a positive conversation with people. Hey guys, what I'm finding is the range I'm telling people, we're hitting the range. It's just taking longer. It's more normal than what it's been in the last few years. And get their buy-in on it. They have to understand that. And then if they get frustrated after 30 days, you're going to have to remind them all over again. At the time of listing, we talk about so many things. I talk really fast, cover a lot of stuff. I know they can't comprehend it all. My follow-up email always highlights what we discussed at that meeting. So I make a copy of that and put it in my file because I'm lazy like that. But nonetheless, I can be assured that we've covered that at least once, that how long this is going to take. Our open house is a good idea. different things that I know are going to come up. By the way, the sellers for years always said, hey, you're a top agent. How come you don't have one of those little flyer boxes in front of my house? The neighbor has it on their listing. So get ready for those conversations when the houses sit. Be prepared. And if you don't know what you would say, we need to talk. Okay.
Yeah.
There's a conversation around that too. Okay. Sorry,
Absolutely.
didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're great. No, this was great. I love it. So, all right. Well, I took up a lot of time today.
Yeah, I
so,
like it.
all
Yeah.
right.
Thanks for taking up a lot of time. Good stuff. All right. Let's talk about a few things. First of all, really excited about I'll share these numbers at the next team meeting, but we just did an analysis of our market center versus market centers in our region, especially market centers of our size, because we're lean and mean and our productivity per agent's through the roof. Then nationally, we stand out even more so than the region. So we got a good little business here. And why that's happening is because, in my opinion, these conversations. Our productivity per agent is a really important thing. That tells you not that we have 400 agents, don't want 400 agents. You guys good with that? I don't know where to put them. But our people that are with us are engaging at a high level. Not everybody's going to engage. It's not how business works. But the people that are engaging are getting the results if they'll do the activities. So let's talk about something we talked about last week real quick. I'm giving Brandy full credit for this, if that's okay. The reset, remember talking about that a little bit? When we get to mid-year, I think it should be done quarterly, but mid-year at the very least, is we got to reflect back on what just happened, okay? So Tom, I'm going to start with you guys. Reflect back on the first 6 months of the year. How do you feel about it? Scale 1 to 10. 10, business only at this point. 10, it was the best I could have ever imagined. 1, I stink.
Yeah, somewhere in between all that.
Okay?
So-
5.
No, I feel like it's more like a 6.5.
6.5. Oh, it's a little halfer. Okay, perfect. So he reflected back on his business and he judged it and said, I'm a 6.5. 1 being I probably need to get out of the business. 10, I got it all figured out, right? Okay, not bad. By the way, you should all be doing this in your own exercise. Todd do it in the mortgage business. Matt does it. Matt does it on the insurance business all the time. Then we have to evaluate. And if I got a 6.5, why did that happen? Okay. Number of sales, number of listings, all those things. So look at your numbers. We got to evaluate the numbers. There's a reason he said 6.5. Okay. If you sold 40 houses in the first 6 months, I bet this number's higher than 6.5.
100%.
Okay. That's how that works. So evaluate that. Not only your numbers.
If I sold less houses in the first 6 months of this year as I did last year, that would be
That's
that
right.
would be lower.
That's
So I'm
right.
Sometimes I'm evaluating against my past performance.
Right.
Right.
That's and your goals.
Yeah.
That's what I always look at. So we'll evaluate our numbers, but here's what we really need to evaluate. The numbers are already in the can. Can't do anything about that. But what time and effort and energy did I put into the business to get the 6.5? Did I put a scale 1 to 10? Be honest. Did you feel like you were a 10 as far as energy, effort? Do you feel like you were 1 or somewhere in between?
I was probably closer to a 10. We were probably, I won't speak for Carrie.
Yeah.
She's a lot better than I am, but I was probably closer to a 10 in January and February than what I was in March when I got busy.
Okay, yeah. We'll average that out and go 8, okay?
Yeah, right.
So you feel pretty good about your effort and everything.
Yeah.
You maybe just didn't, of that effort, it's just now starting to bear fruit and all that. That's pretty simple. Okay, another problem we have when we're doing this is we have to simplify things. We go back and what we were intended on doing, we likely didn't do. So if we had 5 things we were going to accomplish, most of us accomplished 1 at best. Okay, that's how this works. Maybe making it a little bit simpler is easy. In other words, remember do the 2? Okay, do the 2 came out because sometimes real estate agents need things to be so freaking simple that they can actually do it. If you don't know what do the 2 is, I'll be happy to give you the sheet. I'm going to make 2 personal phone calls into my database. I'm going to do 2 text or emails into my database, and then 2 just nice things for somebody. Tell Brandy she has a pretty jacket on, whatever that looks like. Do that every day. And by the way, you're growing your business. I promise.
Thank you.
Keep it simple. Unfortunately, at the beginning of the year, people usually have a laundry list. I'm going to do this. I'm going to start a mailer. I'm going to go do this. I'm going to have 5 open houses. And then you look back and you go, didn't do the mailer. Didn't get to that because I got busy. Open houses, I meant to do like 2 a month. I did 1 a month at best. And so keep it simple and then establish what we're going to do going forward. I can't do anything about Tom's 6.5 for the last 6 months, okay? But he can control what the next 6 months. He can engineer what the second half of the year looks like and the start to next year, Okay, so establish how this business is going to be run. Chances are, now I'll give you credit. This is a fantastic, if somebody was an 8 on their effort, that's fantastic. But I will tell you what ends up happening is the bulk of agents are going to grade themselves in the middle. But if they're really honest with their effort, they're in that 2 to 4 category. In other words, they did not put the effort and energy to get the results that they were hoping to get. Okay. I will honestly say I fit in that category. I got distracted with travel, market center, golf, fishing now. I caught a fish this big yesterday. It was amazing. But 24 years, Darren and I earned the right to be able to take a little time. We don't have to hit our goals anymore. But nonetheless, I'm in that category. I haven't put the true time and energy to hit the numbers that I would have liked to have had. Okay, if I'm just grading myself. So I have to establish new guidelines. If the results are important to me, what am I going to do differently in the next 6 months to be sure that the second half of the year is solid and we're well on our way to a great next year? You guys get that? And at the end of the day, I've got to, you guys, if we don't put time into this thing and account for time, this is not going to happen for most of us. Okay. It's just not going to happen. So you've heard me say it a million times. If I could get all of you to be in this office for 2 or 3 hours a day, and I'm going to assume of that, you're going to work 75% of the time, 25% of the time, we're going to talk about the Chiefs and stuff like that. But we would have bigger businesses. That's just how it works because you're forced into lead generation. Laura just had a success story that we shared. By the way, she was almost forced into that with Brandy's game. Okay, won $100, but nonetheless, those activities weren't going to occur unless Brandy created the motivation. Okay, what's going to motivate you guys and us as a market center to get better results going forward? By the way, as a market center, if I'm judging this business, I'm not sure we're not up in that 8 or 9 category on results. We've done really good in spite of a tough market. But go internal on your businesses. What do you guys want out of this? Does that make sense? Is there anybody that feels like they're getting the results and they're a 9 or a 10 on everything? I don't know who that, Scott Swaggart, if he was here. Effort-wise, that guy puts more hours in. Brannigan Barnett, some of our top people, they are working their tails off and they're getting amazed. Nathan Priest, he wouldn't ever give himself a 10, but nonetheless, it's funny how that works. Okay, so last topic, you guys have seen this enough, but we've had 5 or 6, maybe even 10 people in the last 2 or 3 years come into real estate, struggle at first, and then just get racing into this thing and are now crushing it in a tough market. I could say Shelby, I don't want to miss anybody, but there's a lot of people that have engaged. Maybe it was bumpy at first, and now they've got some critical momentum and they're rocking and rolling. So the question is, how is that possible? How can somebody come into this area and all of a sudden build a real estate business successfully? Because most people know 10 different realtors, right? Okay. Yeah. The people in your database, they have other people. You get that, right? The people in my database also have Darren Jones. Okay. They know Darren Jones and they know this person and that person. If we want to get selected on a frequent basis, how does that happen? Well, let me tell you what's happening. The reason people can, I'm just going to call her, we're going to say Shelby. I like using Shelby. She loves being used, right? So Shelby rolls into this business and has success. How does she do it? First of all, she's intelligent. She absorbs training, all those kind of things. And she's dynamic, right? She's going to have success. But she's successful and other people like her because we stink as an industry. And I'm putting myself in this category. We are not establishing relationships and defending them at a high enough level. And what do I mean by that? I'm going to go back to this stupid triangle that you guys are sick of seeing, okay? Every agent in our office, if we had homework, it would be in the next 30 days, you will turn into Brandy your 200 people in your database. And there'll be 200 families, okay? The Jones, the Johnsons, you guys get that, right? And we're going to grade them. Our top 40 are going to be the people that are home runs in your world, okay? So Christian has 40 people in his world, friends, family, and just his boys, right? If they list, sell a house, or refer, they're sending it to him, okay? So when he picks up the phone, text, smoke signals, whatever, with those 40, it becomes really, really easy. The bulk of people in your database are not that 40. They're the other 160 that need work big time. But guess who you're going to call? If you're going to make truly 2 or 3 calls a day, you're going to call these people because it's easy, okay? These are the relationships that are going to move the needle for you, the other 160 people. You guys get that? Okay, so let me give you an example. Christian, I'm going to use you if that's okay. Christian's got 40 people that he's pretty sure if they list, do anything, refer business, you're getting it, right? So we're going to defend that. We're going to stay in touch with those people. When you see them at Price Chopper, it's knuckles, it's high fives and all that. I'm going to go ahead and say you got at least a 75% chance of getting hired in that group. Okay, let's just say 25% don't use you for some reason or refer you. That's great. Okay. Now, as we go down this list, what ends up happening, we'll use the bottom tier. Okay. These people, we know them, but just picking up the phone and talking to them is going to be bumpy because I haven't talked to them in forever. You guys get that? This is the group that we have to figure out how to get that ease of communication moving more towards what it's like in the top 40. You guys get that? This is absolutely critical. And this is the bulk of people, guys. This is where the money is in this group in your database. So how do I advance that? Brandy's got people in her database right now that they still don't think of her as a realtor. How does she get them to think of them as a realtor? She has to reinforce that constantly. She has to move the ball forward, forward, forward. Now, if some of you are like, well, I'm just not good on the phone, and these people I know, but whatever, if you're going to leave them in that kind of just gray area, you maybe have a 10% chance of getting hired, okay, versus 75%. Which would you rather have? Okay, say 75, please.
75.
Thank you. Okay, someone's listening. But after time, text it, get the communication started with text and email if you have to. And then eventually a phone call occurs. And then when you do it, you're like, that wasn't so bad. Now the ease of communication with that family is improving. And when you talk to them the next quarter, it's even a little bit easier. Guess what ends up happening? Your top 40 becomes your top 100, guys, because you have 100 families that you're tight with. And you have a high probability of getting hired if they conduct real estate or refer it. You guys get that? Okay, but we're letting this group fall into the masses. In other words, people like, I use Shelby in this example, but it could be anybody new into the industry. They're picking up people that are in our databases that they're not picking up a lot of our top 40, so to speak, but they're building relationships with the people that are on the peripheral in our database. You guys get that? So the fastest way to build a business in this, you guys can, and I know Paul's amazing with tech and all that kind of stuff. Those are all great supplements. If you can find 200 people in your world and do this exercise, you guys have heard me say it a million times, we can do whatever you want with your real estate business, okay? 200 people. I don't need 400. I don't need 1,400. I need 200 relationships. And out of those 200 at first, they're not all going to be super strong ones, okay? So if you have a goal of making your real estate life bigger, stronger, and faster, and more defensible in all kinds of markets, how do I identify these people and how do I build the relationships? Okay. Has anybody had anybody in the last couple of years that was in their database and then they all of a sudden they kind of knew them, now they know them a little better, and now they really know them? Has that happened to anybody? Okay, it should have happened. Yeah, it does happen. So they graduate, so to speak, up the comfort zone and where they really have a high probability of producing money. Or you can leave them down here in the bottom, okay? And there's a low probability you get called. It's your choice, okay? It's absolutely your choice. Now, guess what realtors want to do all the time? They want to make that top 400 or 200 that we talked about. Hey, mine's 400. I'm a bad boy. Mine's 400. But this other 200 that you added, you're going to keep them in this low performing group because you're not going to communicate with them at a high level consistently. Therefore, the relationship is no stronger than these knuckleheads. Again, I'm in that 5 to 10% chance of getting the call for a referral or for business. Okay, I got more people, but I got more people that likely aren't going to use me. How's that going to work, Brandy?
It's not.
Not very good. I'd rather have less people that are very likely to use me. Does that make sense?
Yep.
I'd rather have 50 or 60 people that I feel 90% sure would use me than 400, and all of them I have a 5 to 10% chance of getting the call. You guys get that? Quality over quantity. But think about this in your own world. If you want to move the needle next year, if you want to move the needle in the second half, I'm sick of harping about it. I harped about it a lot last year because I saw a rendition of this and I kind of put my own spin on it, but it made sense to me in that this whole business is all about prospecting to get people into this triangle and then move them up. You guys get that? Okay. So the top people, and I'll go with Swagger and I'll talk people that are making multiple 6 figures. They have a really big group right here, okay, that is producing major referrals. Scott's not worried about having 2,000 people. He's going to have 100 people that are going to use him and refer him. And they are people of influence. So they're the people that refer. And now all he has to do is cultivate that list and work his tail off to make a crap ton of money. Any questions on this? It hasn't changed a lot, has it? Did it sound like the last 5 times I've talked about it? Crystal, you're new to our group. Hi, how are you? Oh, introduce yourself. Did you?
8 years, every year and a half off. I'm bringing over from the other Colorado.
Perfect. Yay, welcome to
Yay.
Southland. Yeah.
Welcome.
Yeah, that's all I got. I'm sorry.
All right, well, I think.
ran over.
no,
Sorry, guys.
No, I know, I think we did you get some value today?
Yes.
Okay. All right, guys. Well, let's call that good. We'll see you next week.
Go sell some houses.
Let's go sell some
Yay.
houses.
Thanks, Tom.
Take care.
Tom's like, you didn't tell me I was going to be the guinea pig.
Now you can say whatever.
Yeah, we have. The other battle now. We want to get higher, we go ahead and say, let's do it, and then now we're.